So I want to talk about the things that are hidden in plain sight that I call in our homes. And I have sort of a hierarchy of things because there's so many things. People like say, oh my God, I can't do everything, So I'm going to boil it down to sort of my five top areas. And so the first one, and these impact our immune systems. So the first one are food additives. So according to the Center for the Science and the Public Interest, most food additives are unsafe in the amounts consumed or are very poorly tested and should be avoided. So this is our government telling us to avoid food additives, but the stuff on the store shelves, they're there. And so we have to be the ones in charge and paying attention, start reading labels. So what I mean by food additives are artificial food color, natural flavors, MSG, which is a neurotoxin, aspartame and artificial sweeteners, preservatives, and pesticides. So I just want to go through a few of these. Artificial food dyes. So food is monitored by the Food and Drug Administration. Do you think that food dyes are safe? What do you think? No, okay. Well, yeah, this was in Forbes magazine, potential dangers of artificial dyes. And they are derived from petroleum and coal tar. Now, the thing that I discovered in my research was they're banned in Europe. Artificial food dyes are banned in Europe. Why? Because when they did studies of children who ate these dyes, normal kids, they would have temper tantrums. So it exacerbates behavioral issues. So think about, eating food dyes, they're hidden everywhere. So, for example, like in Europe, McDonald's, and I'm not endorsing McDonald's, but in Europe, the strawberry sundaes are made from real strawberries, and in the US, they're made from red dye number 40, the color. And Fanta orange soda in the Europe and UK are made from pumpkins and carrot extract. And here, they're used red dye number 40 and yellow dye number 6. So here's like a typical meal. I remember I went to the Chicago Children's Museum with my nephew and his son and my daughter, this when they were young. And I thought, well, gosh, the Children's Museum, it's going to have really healthy food, right, for kids. No, it had really awful, this was like a choice. So his son ordered this meal. It was mac and cheese and some orange soda and a little bag of Skittles. And, of course, my daughter was wanting it. But I said no, and I got her some salad and some chicken nuggets, But sure enough, after, I'd say 20 minutes later, after the meal, his son had a meltdown, and I was convinced it was from the food dyes. So food dyes are found in things like kids' cough syrups, Claritin. And the interesting thing is about these food dyes, it takes about only about 40 to 60 milligrams of food dyes to cause these temper tantrums. And a meal like that, the one that I just showed you, had over 100. So if you multiply that, say three times, 3 meals, you're eating the yogurt with the food coloring, the candies. It adds up. It adds up. So, and then again, the medicines and the vitamins, the food dyes they're found in our vitamins. So you have to be really careful about what vitamins you're choosing. This is this is what kids. Our brains, on food dyes as well, and this is also the sugar-free. Anything that says sugar-free, you can bet has aspartame in it. I love to go to the store and look for products that people buy every day, and that seem okay. So this was Jiffy blueberry muffin mix, and then if you read the fine print, it'll say, let's see if I can. Oops. Well, it says in there, made with artificial blueberries. So what are artificial blueberries? Well, it was blue dye number 1 and 2, plus partially hydrogenated oil, which is a trans fat. And I remember giving a talk at a mom's group, and one of the women said, "I just made this for my kids, you know." And it's like, did you read the label? No. So really need to be good label readers. So a safe alternative would be, you know, just to make yourself some muffins with real blueberries. Make sure they're organic, though. Gatorade. How many of you guys drink? No? Yes? Good. Okay. Well, there you go. It's got, not only it's got red dye 40 and blue 1, it's also got sucrose syrup and flavors and monosodium phosphate. It's not the best. So a safe alternative would be coconut water, which is a really great drink. It's hydrating. It's not fattening. It has no coloring in it. It has no sugar in it. So I wanted to just talk about natural flavors for a minute. Natural flavors, they're made in the lab. So it could mean that it's made from MSG, which is a neurotoxin that destroys our brain cells. And if you see the words natural fruit flavor on a label, it doesn't mean it's a fruit extract. It's a flavor. It comes from a chemical. It comes from the lab. So there's natural smoke flavor, there's peppermint flavor, vanilla flavor, etc. So you want to look for real flavors, not quote-unquote natural flavors. So it's also allowed in thousands of health foods. So it's just something to be aware of. There's not a lot of research on this yet, but I'm thinking this is kind of the next level to sort of pay attention to. So here's Cheerios, for example, very berry, made with real fruit, but it's got these flavors in it. And then mayonnaise, it's got artificial flavors, and soybean oil, which soybean oil, for the most part, probably, if it's not organic, 80% of the soy crop in this country is genetically modified. So I'm not going to go into a lot about genetically modified food. I know that there's been speakers who've talked about it, but I do know that the pediatricians that I work with tell me that when they get the children off of GM foods, that their guts heal and their behaviors heal. So they're hidden. A lot of these additives and colorings are hidden, and so you just need to be careful. And so here's some safe alternatives. There's some natural mayonnaise. There's Cascadian Farms, Purely O's that don't have any coloring. And then the peanut butter, I guess the last one, the bottom one is peanut butter, and it has, it's a little hard to read, but it's got flavorings and preservatives and sugar, and so look for peanut butter that just is 100% organic and no other additives, peanuts and salt, and that's all you really need. So yeah, I mean, I go into people's homes and I help them detox, because a lot of them, they have mystery illnesses, you know, and so I went into this one woman's home and she said, "Oh, we eat all organic," and then I opened up her refrigerator and she had a jar of Skippy, and I pointed out that, you know, Skippy peanut butter, the number 2 ingredient on it was hydrogenated oil and sugar. And she said, "Oh, you know, we feed it to the dog. That's why we have it there." But anyway, later on, before I left, she told me that she was embarrassed. And she said, "Well, the reason I get this peanut butter is because my kids don't like the natural." But there are lots of different varieties, and I'm sure you can find one that's not going to kill you. Okay, and here's some others that have strawberry flavor, for example. Again, these are not made with fresh strawberries. These are made with artificial ingredients that come from the lab. And so these things build up in our systems. We want to just eat as close to nature as possible. A safe alternative would be getting a bottle of Perrier, squeezing some orange juice, you know, making your own. That would be a really safe alternative and delicious. So I want to talk about preservatives. What do you think the shelf life of a loaf of bread should be? 1 or 2 days? Okay, so before I had the slideshow, I used to have like a show and tell, and I would bring products to show people. So I picked up a loaf of this bread. It was from Safeway, and it was called, 100% whole wheat bread. And the reason I bought it was because I wanted to show 100%, that if you see the words made with, it could mean only 1%, let's say, of the food has that ingredient. So if it says made with whole grains, you might only be getting a fraction. So I was trying to point out, if you're looking for whole grain, get something that says 100%. So I had this loaf of bread, and it was in my pantry. It wasn't in my refrigerator or freezer. And I noticed that it was now 9 months had gone by, and there wasn't a speck of mold on it. And the bread was as soft as the day I bought it. And I just thought, what is going on? What does this have in here? And this wasn't Wonder Bread. This was like a 100% whole wheat bread. Well, it has calcium propionate, a mold inhibitor, and boy, this stuff works. I mean, it really works. Now, the interesting thing in my research, I discovered that calcium propionate causes ADHD behavior in rats. So can you imagine? So, true, we're not rats. However, if you think about it, you're eating, a couple of slices of bread for breakfast maybe, and then you have a sandwich for lunch, maybe you have something else in the evening. You're getting a lot of this calcium propionate. So, and then here's another, wait, I went back. Partially, it says at the bottom here, partially produced with genetic engineering. So again, something to pay attention to. But this has dextrose in it, which is another form of sugar. So it's just important to pay attention to what's in your bread, and find a bread or any product with only just a small amount of ingredients, maybe 3 ingredients. Michael Pollan says, 3 to 5 ingredients tops. So when you start to see the paragraph worth of ingredients, you know that that's a red flag. Now, BHA and BHT, these are preservatives that they're putting in the wrappers of our cereal boxes. And again, banned in Europe, the UK, and Japan. So they know something we don't know, or we know it and we're just continuing to use it because it's inexpensive. And it's also found in gum, in Trident gum. So I want to talk about pesticides. I consider pesticides an additive, a food additive, even though you can't see it, smell it, taste it. It's there. Pesticides are designed to destroy the nervous system of bugs, and so you need to start thinking, what is it doing to our nervous system? I remember driving along the I-5 down in California, and I saw a guy just like this. This little rodent is saying, "Do you also eat with that mask on?" I said, "Well, yeah." I just saw, him spraying all this toxic chemicals. So the workers are suffering, and we are suffering as well. There are toxic pesticide residues on our fruits and vegetables if we're not buying organic. Is organic better? Everyone asks me, well, it's more expensive. Well, okay, an organic apple has 300% more vitamin C than a non-organic apple, and 61% more calcium, which is pretty significant. Organic spinach, 7 times more calcium, and 117% more potassium. And organic tomatoes have 97% more antioxidants. We have to think about the food that we're eating as supercharging our cells. And we want to eat the best quality food. Like, why not? Why not spend the money on that? I shop at farmers markets. I'm growing my own herbs. I'm loving that. And I know that it's feeding me. It's feeding me on a deep level. And it's good. So let's just do a little experiment here. This is from the Environmental Working Group. They have what's called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So here's a group of 10 fruits and vegetables, and I wanted to know what you thought was the, let's pick the top 3. Well, let's number 1, which has the most toxic pesticide residues. Strawberry. Okay, good. And then number 2? Apple. Oh, you're a smart group. Okay. And then number 3? Well, it's the greens. This is spinach. So what I wanted to talk about, the strawberries, are that you can't wash off the pesticides from a strawberry. The pesticides are injected into the root system, and it comes up into the flesh. So if you're not buying organic strawberries, you're really doing yourself a disservice, so it's really important to eat in season. Apples as well. Now, potatoes are another one that are pretty high, and again, the pesticides are injected into the root system, so even peeling the potato is not going to get rid of the pesticides. And then the clean ones, the ones that have the least, what do you think? Grapefruit? Yeah, onions, and here I have my list. Let's see, when I went the wrong way. Yeah, avocado is the cleanest. It has the peel, and then onion and asparagus. I was surprised to know that is pretty safe. So yeah, this was their 2017 list of the top 10, and so when you're shopping, it's really important to pay attention to the ones, especially the top 5 that have the most toxic residue in it, because those are the ones that are going to be lingering. Now, the good news is when you change your diet and go to organic, those pesticides rinse out of your body quickly. They're not held in the fat cells that a lot of some of the other chemicals are, but pesticides, it's a quick fix. So I really recommend that you start to shop at farmers markets, start to grow your own food. I just remember going to an apple orchard, an organic apple orchard, when my daughter was in school, and I grew up in New York, and had never been to an apple orchard, and I just remember like walking up to this tree and picking an apple and eating it, and it just was a transformative experience. It's the fragrance of the apple was so amazing. Most of the apples we buy in the supermarket have no scent, so if you have an opportunity to do that, it's great. So this is from a film, and Unacceptable Levels, and so this was a non-organic tomato, has 35 pesticide residues. 5 are known or probable carcinogens, 3 are developmental or reproductive toxins, and 14 are suspected hormone disruptors. 6 are neurotoxins. So what a hormone disruptor is it messes with our hormones. Hormones, there's sex hormones, there's hormones that make you gain or lose weight. This is big. I think it's something that we really are not paying attention to. We just think, oh, it's in the grocery store, it's fine, it's been tested for safety. It hasn't been. It really hasn't been. So if you can walk away with one change after this talk, would be really start eating organic as much as possible. Look for USDA organic sign, the sticker on food. And now at the farmers markets, you won't always find this, but talk to your farmer, find out their practices. Ask them if they're spraying. Ask them what kind of fertilizers you're using in their soil. They'll tell you. They love to talk. And so there, these little white stickers on the fruits and vegetables, and there's a little code. It's a 5. It has 5 numbers on it, and if it says 9 in the front, so it'll be certified organic, like this tomato. And if it has an 8 on it, that means that it's non-organic. And then if it's got if it's conventional. If it's an 8, it's genetically modified. So look for the number 9 the first number should be the number 9, and that'll show you that it's organic. Sometimes I've been to stores and it'll say organic blueberries, and then I'll look at the sticker and it'll have a 4 on it, and I know it's not. So sometimes they're trying to sell you something that's not true. So you need to be an educated consumer. Easy to remember, I think. Just look for that number 9. So food additives, in summary, can cause hormonal imbalances, weight gain, decreased energy level, mood changes, digestive distress, and just really try to avoid processed foods and GMOs for sure.